Hey, do you want to see something?
Yeah.
Okay.
What? Where are my friends? All my friends are dead. All my friends are dead. Got kicked in the head. All my friends are dead. All my friends are dead. All my friends are dead. They got smacked in the head. All my friends are dead. I always knew that they would end up like today. They bought the bullet and they paid with hand grenades. Hey!
What's up, gamers? So I just finished my first playthrough of FlatOut, and as some of you keen-eyed gamers might have noticed, there's no videos of me playing FlatOut on my channel. And that's because I honestly really had no intentions on talking about this game. I purchased it on a whim as part of a humble bundle, expecting to maybe find a game that was alright enough to enjoy for an hour or two when some friends are over for some co-op racing games. However, after a few sessions I found myself just absolutely under its spell, and just wanted to take a couple of minutes of time to explain what FlatOut is and why I enjoyed so much. And I also just want to make sure more people are aware of this game. FlatOut eloquently describes itself as reckless racing around the world, crashes, explosions, destruction, and screaming drivers. And in my own words, I would describe FlatOut as the best simucade racing game I have played since Burnout Revenge. FlatOut re-implements so many proven systems of racing games that came before, and it never misses or feels like it cut any corners when doing so. I think that if you like FlatOut, Burnout, Wreckfest, BeamNG, Twisted Metal, Motortown Behind the Wheel, Vigilante 8, Grand Theft Auto 4's driving, Road Rash, Cruisin' USA, Road Redemption, Drive, the 2011 film, or anything else over the top badass, then I would bet you would enjoy your time with FlatOut. Now a little more background on FlatOut real quick. FlatOut is the debut game from Good Boys, and it was published by Creativo on PC in 2022 and later released on Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5. In the game, you take on the role of Mihailuk, and your goal is to win the Cup of the FlatOut Festival, and along the way you will compete in all kinds of events that are heavily inspired by racing movies, games, and car culture. It's an extremely straightforward underdog rises to the top story that just oozes love throughout. During the story, you'll be competing in all kinds of events such as rally, destructive races with AI, cops and robbers themed missions, everyone in the same car, stunts like FlatOut, destruction derbies, power-up races, and more. I think the devs, when they set out to make this game, just really wanted one racing game that they could play on the couch with their friends instead of having like 10 different ones that all do one specific thing really well. They just kind of rolled it all up into one. And I must say, they really spared no expense when it came to implementing every different fun form of racing in video games into one solid package. As the story progresses, you'll notice there's a pattern to the missions. It's a handful of different races and events, and then after a couple of those, you'll get a chance to take on a boss and move up the FlatOut ranks. Each boss fight itself is a two-part event. Each one of them has their own unique twist too, where the first part is usually some form of race, and then the second one is always a destruction derby. You do that 10 times in a row, bam, you've beaten FlatOut. But that's not where the fun ends. FlatOut also has a new game plus, which I'm working through now as I'm writing this and recording this, and I'm very much still enjoying my time with it. It adds new folds on top of the already existing gameplay mechanics that just make it more fun. I don't know how else to describe it. But now, I'm just going to get to the part of my notes where there's really no script, and I'm just going to do my best to explain why I enjoyed this game so much. So sit down, relax, and enjoy my random collection of thoughts. First things first, I just really thought there's so much life and like love put into this game and every single aspect of it. For example, when you're not even actually playing the game in a race, just going around throughout the garage, which acts as the main menu, there's so many different little screens and transitions and little animations that were put into the game that I think really show how much they enjoyed making this game. For example, you have a dog running around in your workshop. After the end of every race, you'll get a little grin and a dance from Mihailuk. If you go to the workshop to work on your cars or paint them, it's a different screen. When you go to check your phone, there's a different screen for that. When you're changing outfits, there's a different screen animation for that. That's just some of the stuff at the main menu. Weirdly enough though, it actually kind of reminds me of Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer, because that game as well has a bunch of different menus and screens for all the different actions you can do to customize your vehicles. These little touches really add up, I thought, and really just made the game a better experience. In addition to this, one thing that I really loved in the game that I think is critical for a good experience in a racing game was the vehicle destruction in this game. It is so refreshing to play a racing game and see a car react to how you're driving. I noticed that when I was playing, the more I played, I grew very tired of seeing the same just the frame of a car finishing a race. And over time, it slowly encouraged me, and I realized that I need to drive better to get the reward of seeing my car finish the race in one piece. I'm not exactly sure how the simulation that powers vehicle deformation works, whether it be a bunch of prefabbed damaged body parts that it just quickly loads in, or fully simmed. Either way, it really works, and I really thought it helps create moments of tension and a very responsive and reactive driving experience. Quick little side tangent, but I actually think that showing realistic vehicle deformation and crashing in games is kind of important, because I think that it subconsciously will teach people that hey, when you're driving, if you're going fast and you crash into something, there is going to be a big reaction, as opposed to some more watered down games that are scared to damage and trash the vehicles that you're driving. But I'm getting off my soapbox for now. Back to some other things I enjoyed about FlatOut. Now let's talk story real quick. As I mentioned before, the game follows Mihailik, rising up through the ranks of the FlatOut Festival, trying to become the FlatOut champion. What I really enjoyed actually about this game was that they had cutscenes and they're trying to tell a story throughout it to tie together all the mayhem that is the races. What I really enjoy about it so much is that it doesn't really look to ever reinvent the wheel, and instead just looks to copy a lot of things that have been done before and things that look cool. It keeps it simple, and that's awesome. And as I'm sure you probably might have noticed by now, as you're looking through some of these cutscenes that I'm probably throwing up on screen, the animations for this is a little stiff, but I genuinely don't think that I have much of a problem with that. Because what I take away from that is that the developers of the game spent all their time getting the driving right, because that's the most important part, and all these cutscenes were just for fun, and I think that's really cool. Now genuinely though, without trying to spoil anything, one thing I thought that FlatOut really caught me off guard with that I thought was so cool, that's something that you see from big AAA games. It didn't change the main menu after beating the game, but what it did effectively was completely recontextualize where it is and what's going on in it. And I don't want to dive much more into that because that will spoil what little story there is to this game, but I thought that was a really awesome touch. On top of just recontextualizing the main menu, when you beat the game, you also unlock New Game Plus, which I thought is a fantastic iteration of New Game Plus. It allows you to keep all your cars you've purchased, roll them right over to the new mode. But what I noticed after starting New Game Plus was that kind of seems to be where the game really begins, it feels like. Because when you're just playing the game through the first time, you have different difficulty options for the AI. Right away in New Game Plus, what I noticed was that the AI seemed much better at racing. So I was just curious, I paused, I looked at the menu, and I noticed that on New Game Plus there's only one difficulty option, and that is New Game Plus. And to me, this New Game Plus difficulty seems to be how the game is probably most likely designed to be played. And I'm really enjoying my time with it. In addition to this applies for both New Game Plus and just traditional New Game. What I really enjoyed is how throughout the game, they let you choose any car for any race in the story. And how they adapt to this is that each AI in the race picks from the same tier. I think there's A, B, and C tiers. So if I pick an A tier car, all the other cars in the race are going to be A tier. If I pick a B tier, they're going to be B tier. C tier, they're all going to be C tier. And I thought that's really cool. Because while it would have been easy to lock certain cars out of certain story races for logical sense or just for whatever reasons, instead the fellas at Good Boys said, fuck it, let the player pick whatever they want. For example, I could just bring a school bus or a monster truck to a race that it's totally grossly unqualified for. Or I could bring it to a Destruction Derby event where it's grossly overqualified for. I appreciate this level of freedom that they let the player have. I think it's something that is just good. It just shows confidence in the game that no matter what car you pick, you're going to have fun. And that's something I've noticed throughout this game. Going off that fun, I will say that I have felt that every single race in this game is absolute mayhem. Through the course, you can drive through buildings, props, pedestrians on the course, other racers' cars. Each thing you hit in this game seems to have a certain amount of weight and impacts how your car drives, and it leaves believable enough damage to the vehicle. I think it strikes a really good balance of full-on simulation to arcade, to where crashing has an impact on you, but it's not as detrimental as it would be in real life. And while we're talking racing destruction, I think one thing that really helps tie it all together and create really genuinely tense moments is the fact that your vehicle has a health bar, as you'll see up in the top right corner of some of the gameplay on screen. It effectively acts as the player's leash for how reckless you can drive. I've had races where I'm on the final race where I'm still near full health, so I can just take it easy and relax. I've also had other races where I finish with 1 HP. For the entire last race, I am praying that all 4 of my tires stay on the ground and I don't accidentally clip a little rock. I think the health system in the game is a great touch for the vehicles that allows you as a player the freedom to drive recklessly, but also has a healthy repercussion for it, where it's not overly punishing and creates genuine moments of fun. In addition to this, all the AI also has their own health bar. I'm not sure if how high or low their health bar actually affects their driving, but it is always cool to see when you're in the middle of a race that an AI can also be taken out the same way you can. But while we're talking racing fun and all the mayhem, one thing I did really enjoy is that, as you can probably see, this game had a tighter budget, so there was no money to spend for licensing real cars. But what I will say is that I absolutely loved all of the legally distinct cars. I think that they have a great roster, great selection of different cars, that when you look at them you can tell what they're trying to be, but also at the same time are unique enough and believable. And I think this freedom from any licensing allows FlatOut to just be able to go wild and do what they want and have all this fun. So if you're a big studio AAA executive watching this video for some reason, first off, what are you doing watching this video? Second off, let people crash their cars. Let me race as an M3 in Forza, and let me see the doors fly off. Let me see that whole thing get completely ruined. Or at least just give me the option in the settings and you can have it off by default. Also, that message also does apply to any car licensee holders. So if you guys are licensing your cars out to a game, let the game allow your car to get trashed. It's not going to affect the value. It's just going to show that there are repercussions for driving recklessly. But now, I'll try and wrap this up, get you out of here, get you on to your next video. One thing I noticed that was interesting when I was looking this game up, that kind of also made me sad and I really didn't know where to put it, was that I looked up the credits of this game, and for FlatOut there were 74 total names included, and this was excluding like the donors and the Patreons that were part of it. Some of the names I saw appear multiple times, and then I just typed in the credits for Forza, and what made me sad was that I didn't get the video of the credits for it. Instead I just got a bunch of videos about credit farming and min-maxing, and I think that that is just so not cool. But getting off my soapbox, and now let me just wrap this thing up. Overall, I genuinely really enjoyed my time with FlatOut, and I'm still enjoying my time with FlatOut New Game Plus. The racing is incredibly tense, the AI is great, the environments are destructive as hell, it has a ton of fun with its ideas, and I think it's a fantastic complete package that in the best way possible feels like a fully complete PS2 racing game that you never heard of before. I know that they're working on FlatOut 2, and I'll be watching to see how development progresses on that with great interest. So, as always, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. And if you played FlatOut, let me know where it ranks all time in your favorite racing games. For me, it's surprisingly boiled way higher to the top than I ever would have expected. So, thanks again for watching. I'm on to my next game. Till next time, drivers.